Holy Family Memorial is extremely pleased to be collaborating with the Chamber of Manitowoc County on the Holy Family Memorial Health and Wellness Center, which is servicing Chamber members. This is a great new endeavor that we are very excited about, and we look forward to telling you more. The Holy Family Memorial Health and Wellness Center, servicing Manitowoc County Chamber members, will be open on March 1st, 2017, and will be providing both primary and acute care for all Chamber members who are eligible and register. We'll be providing primary care for individuals aged 2 and up in terms of basic primary care services, as well as acute and urgent care, which are a lot of basic items that you would normally go see an urgent care specialist for, such as sore throat, respiratory, yeast infections, things like that. We're also including 4 basic labs: mono, strep, urine dip, and pregnancy. And those were important for us to include in the overall program, since they relate very closely to a lot of acute and urgent care needs. One of the key items is really the chronic disease management services that will be provided in the Health and Wellness Center for main chronic diseases. These are a big part of expenses, and while fewer people may be having chronic diseases, they are usually a large cost to the patient as well as the employer. So our nurse practitioner, physician assistant at the Health and Wellness Center will be able to provide chronic disease management, which will hopefully lower overall costs for both the patient as well as the employer in terms of that process. To give you an idea of regular costs, an acute or urgent care visit is typically around $175 per visit, and a primary care visit is anywhere between $175 to $225 per visit. So you'll see why this is such a great and cost-effective method for employers and individuals when you see the investment a little bit later. As I mentioned, the Health and Wellness Center will open on March 1st, 2017, and it will be housed at our Holy Family Memorial Harbortown Clinic at 1650 South 41st Street in Manitowoc. It will be open Monday through Friday, and you can see that we have varying hours. We're open 3 days a week from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and 2 days from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we did that very intentional to be able to have very early morning and later afternoon hours for all of the individuals who sign up for the Health and Wellness Center. Rhonda Zimmerman will be the main nurse practitioner 4 days a week, and we will have a different provider during the 5th day. And for visits here, again, these are the acute and primary care visits. Ultimately, appointments are preferred, but walk-ins will be accepted for these services. Now, so we'll be including 3 additional services in the Health and Wellness Center: physical therapy, wellness coaching, and emotional health counseling. And you can see in each instance, these will be offered 10 hours a week, typically one day as early as 7 or 7:30 in the morning, and one day will go to 6 p.m. Same reason as we talked about before, to provide flexibility for the patients in the Health and Wellness Center. Physical therapy will be basically most general physical therapy needs. You would be able to go see the physical therapist for. One of the key items that is not included is any post-surgery physical therapy. We want that to be part of the entire surgery experience and care experience, so that is not included. And there's a few other items, but generally most physical therapy would be included in this. Wellness coaching is the ability to speak with Holy Family Memorial Wellness Coach on items such as nutrition needs, exercise, basic wellness on how you might be able to eat better, exercise better, and items to get your health risk assessment or biometrics better in control. And then emotional health counselor. Beverly will be our emotional health counselor, and she will be able to talk with individuals about any basic emotional health, stress at work, stress at home, work-life balance, financial issues, marriage issues, depression, anxiety, any of those types of items. You would be able to speak with the emotional health counselor. Again, all 3 of these services are included. We are starting out at 10 hours a week for each of these 3 services during the first year. And if there becomes a need from those who are participating in the Health and Wellness Center that they want more hours, we will be happy to add the hours with a respective increase in the annual investment as well. Each of these 3 services are by appointment only, not by walk-in, because they're pretty limited on the 10 hours per week. So who is eligible and what are the costs? All Chamber of Manitowoc County members are eligible, along with their employees and their dependents. The investment is only $99 per person per year, plus a $10 access fee per visit. And we're prorating that in 2017 based on opening up on March 1st. So this year, the annual investment per person is only $82.50. It includes all of the acute care, primary care, physical therapy, wellness coaching, and emotional health counseling that we've discussed. And again, all of that's included for what would be $82.50 per person per year in 2017, with a $10 access fee for each visit. So extremely reasonable costs. And again, if you think about what we talked earlier of a regular acute care visit and primary care visit ranges from $175 to $225 per visit, this is only $99 per person per year plus the $10 access fee per visit is an extremely reasonable cost and very cost effective. So in effect, most employers and their employees and their dependents should be asking, why wouldn't we want to be part of this? Because it's so cost effective. Other information, and this is extremely important, is we do not want the Health and Wellness Center to be a replacement for your primary care provider. We want it to be an extension of your primary care provider and your healthcare relationship. Typically, anywhere between 40 to 70% of individuals actually do not have a primary care provider. So the intent in this Health and Wellness Center is to help those individuals have a primary and acute care resource for them to go to. And over time, as they're meeting with Rhonda Zimmerman, our nurse practitioner, that Rhonda would be helping those individuals get a primary care provider, because we feel it is very important that every patient should have their own primary care provider. For those individuals that already do have a primary care provider, we want those relationships to continue, and this provides a venue where you can go for, again, only the $10 access fee per visit and the low cost per year to be able to supplement visits that you might see in addition to your primary care provider. So we do want that relationship to continue. The other key is this is a regular healthcare clinic. So it's just a personalized clinic for the chamber members. And so all visits are confidential, and it is a HIPAA compliant healthcare clinic. One of the other items that we're including is our HFM Right Now e-visits. And the reason we're doing that is obviously the Health and Wellness Center is only open about 40 plus hours per week for acute and primary care. So we wanted another low cost alternative to the members to be able to access acute care during outside hours. So our HFM Right Now e-visits are accessible 365 days a year from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. You simply would click the link that's here, and we have a reduced cost of only $30 per visit. It's typically a higher cost if you're not part of this Health and Wellness Center. And literally, it's an email system where a patient would go on, they would indicate what's wrong with them. For example, I have a sore throat, my stomach hurts. And based on what they type in, the system will ask a few other short questions to help get a diagnosis. And then the patient would click submit, and within 1 hour, the patient would receive an email back from a Holy Family Memorial provider with a diagnosis. If the diagnosis is you need to come in, your $30 visit will be credited to your account. You don't have to pay that twice. You could wait to schedule an appointment maybe during the weekday at the Health and Wellness Center. But ideally, this provides you with a low-cost acute care visit outside of regular hours between 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. 365 days a year, which is fantastic. And you can do this at your own home or in front of any iPhone, iPad, computer, etc., since it's all electronic. So why is this needed, and what are the benefits? We're going to look at this in a couple different perspectives here. For employers who are already offering health care to their employees and their dependents, which is fantastic, most likely employer healthcare costs are going up. This is a common trend across the nation, and typically what's happening as an employer costs are going up, so are patient deductibles based on the health plans that are out there. And what we're seeing across the country is as deductible plans are going up for individuals, most people are not using their health care because they don't want to spend their own money on the deductible. So many people are not going for primary and acute care unless they really, really need it because they don't want to spend their money on their deductible. And on top of that, what's happening is they're delaying health care overall until something bad really happens. So for example, somebody's shoulder may be hurting and instead of going to see their primary care physician or instead of going to see a physical therapist for a couple of visits, they may not go at all because they don't want to spend money on their high deductible plan. And then maybe it's 6 months, 9 months, a year later, their shoulder ends up maybe tearing and they end up needing surgery on it, which is a much higher cost to them as well as the employer, which increases everybody's healthcare costs. Part of why we want to do this health and wellness center is to diffuse that so that people have a much more reasonable cost for the $10 access fee and only $99 per person per year to be going to get the physical therapy or wellness coaching or emotional health counseling or primary and acute care at a very reasonable cost to hopefully avoid higher costs such as surgeries and other inpatient care. For those employers that may not offer healthcare, and maybe you have your employees and dependents go through a healthcare exchange, you might be sitting back saying, well, why would I do this because I don't spend money today? Well, there's several reasons. It's a great recruitment and retention piece for employees and their dependents if you do offer this, in addition to having your employees go through the healthcare exchange. It also, because it's going to have very easy access and it's very convenient with little and no waiting time, those individuals that use it will ultimately have less time away from work, which makes your whole organization much more productive. So there's a couple different ways to look at this. Ultimately, we believe it's a great resource for any employer as well as any employee and their families. So how does one register for this? There's a two-step registration process. All of this information is located as well at the end of this presentation, as well as the Manitowoc County Chamber website. The first step would be a chamber member needs to simply take 30 seconds and complete the employer registration or the chamber member registration. There's no cost or obligation to complete that. All as that does is says you're interested in the program, and it automatically gives you an email and a link will come separately. So you complete the first 30 seconds submission, then you will automatically get an email with another link, which is the employee and dependent registration information. That's the link that you would send to your employees, and they would complete on their behalf or their dependents' behalf to actually register for the program. Once everybody is registered, we will then send an invoice to the chamber member based on the total number of people signed up. So for example, if you are an employer that has 10 employees and each employee has 3 dependents, which would be 40 people, and all of them sign up, you would receive an invoice for 40 times the cost this year of $82.50 per person. Once that invoice is paid, we are going to be creating personalized health and wellness center cards for every individual. So you would receive 40 personalized cards with each person's name on it, and then you would distribute those to the individuals. Once they set up their appointment or do walk-in for acute and primary care, they would bring their personalized membership card along with their $10 to pay the access fee. Again, as we talked about earlier, appointments are preferred for any of the primary and acute care visits, but walk-ins will be accepted, and appointments are only going to be taken for the physical therapy, the wellness coaching, and the emotional health counseling. And again, patients just need to show that personalized member card that they'll be receiving, as well as pay the $10. We are going to be having an open house and a grand opening, and more details will be coming on those. Here's the link to be able to access the first part of the registration. This also has information to frequently asked questions, as well as another one-page document of services. We look forward to having the opportunity to serve Manitowoc County and the chamber members on the Holy Family Memorial Health and Wellness Center, which is servicing all chamber members. Thank you.